Good evening and welcome to Real Talk with Tamara. I hope that you guys are doing okay this evening. As you guys come into the room, please hit the like button. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. I want you guys to know how much I appreciate you so much. All of the support that I get from you all. Trust me, I do not take it lightly. All of my old subscribers, all of my new subscribers, all of my future subscribers, I show gratitude to you before you even come, okay? I always say that, my subscribers rock. We be on our real grown folks stuff over here. We agree to disagree and push on, okay? So I want you guys to know how much I adore you, okay? Um, Hit the like button. Hitting the like button helps to keep the video in the algorithm. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. Hit the notification button, share the video. It helps more people to see the video, okay? And if you would like to support the channel, you could do it via Cash App or Super Thanks at the bottom of the screen. Your support means everything, okay? I wanted to talk about a woman in Baltimore, Shanteri Weems, who had a daycare. This lady ended up shooting her husband because of allegations of abuse. Her husband was a former police officer. He retired and she owned a daycare. He ended up working at her daycare. And I was working on another story, you know, that I was going to redo, one of some okay I was getting ready to I'll tell you all about the story that I'm getting ready to do in a few minutes because I was really getting ready to go on a tangent about what happened with the story I did the first time, but we'll talk about that later. And but anyways, I was working on that story and this story kind of popped up. I had not even heard about it. This happened in Baltimore and it happened in 2022. So what I want to do is I found it very interesting, which is why I always talk about how important it is to make sure that we elect the right people, okay? I always talk about that. Hold on one second. I'm getting ready to um okay. Her name is Shanteri Weems. Her husband's name is James Weems. Um Hold on one second. I want to pull this up for you guys if you don't mind. I got so many other things open because, child, I still got a screen open where I was getting ready to, hold on. This is it right here. Yes. I want you guys to hear this.
Hi, how are you? Bruce Leshan.
The judge says Shanteri Weems took the law into her own hands. But she says she snapped, and some supporters see her as a kind of avenging angel, seeking justice for horrible crimes against children.
I was emotional.
Her backers were stunned last month when a judge slapped the 50-year-old with a 4-year sentence, twice what even prosecutors recommended in a plea deal.
Despite my surroundings, I'm doing okay. I have a lot of supporters and people who uplift me and help me survive.
Prosecutors have charged her husband, James Weems, with 33 counts of rape and child sex crimes. He's awaiting trial, and his lawyer is declining to comment.
Don't let them sweep this under the rug. The man is still alive. And
right from the start, the internet was filled with support for Weems under the hashtag #FreeShanteri. She shot her husband, a retired cop, twice in his room at what was then DC's Mandarin Oriental Hotel, where he was staying while providing security at the Urban League convention. The judge said her attack on her husband was premeditated, not spontaneous, that police had told her days earlier that they were investigating him and they'd shut down her little kid's castle in Baltimore County while they looked into the allegations of child sexual abuse.
The only person I had to find out information from was my husband. And he kept saying he didn't do it.
And you believed him.
I did believe him.
But then, she says, the mother of one of the children, a child she'd loved and cared for years, said they had to talk.
I saw the pain in her face, and I knew that she was not lying. She finally said it was my husband.
You think about that child all the time.
All the time. I think about all the children all the time.
You felt this complete betrayal of trust.
I was totally broken. I felt like the blood had just drained out of my body because, again, this is my husband. I trusted him fully. He was supposed to help me protect these children. He always told me he was my protector. So when I heard this, I just felt like my world had just ended.
She took her first drink in 20 years, and according to prosecutors, texted her business partner, "I'm going to kill him and then myself." She drove to the hotel and angrily confronted him.
I snapped. I'm not a violent person. I was totally broken. I felt like the blood had just drained out of my body.
At first, Shantari Weems says she did not believe the allegations that her husband, a former cop, had abused children at her daycare, Little Kids Castle.
We were both supposed to be on this crusade of saving children. And child molestation is something that we talked about all the time.
About how horrible it was.
How horrible it was, yes.
But then the mother of one of the children, a child she had loved and cared for like her own, told her what the little one had told the police.
I saw the pain in her face, and I knew that she was not lying.
She had her first drink in 20 years. Prosecutors say she texted her business partner and friend, "I'm going to kill him and then myself." And then she drove to DC's then Mandarin Oriental Hotel, where James Weems was working security at a conference, and she confronted him.
The situation was kind of like a fire. He was fuel, I was fuel. We poured that fuel in the fire and it just blew up. We got to arguing, fussing, and one thing led to another.
How could you bring yourself to pull the trigger on your own husband?
I snapped. I'm not a violent person.
The first shot was in the neck.
Yes.
And then you shot him in the leg.
Yes.
So you had to think about it between those two shots, right?
No.
You didn't think about it.
No.
The judge made a lot of this issue. He suggested that you were out to intentionally maim and cause long-term pain to your husband.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you meant to do?
No.
You thought about killing yourself?
I did. I feel I let my family down. I feel I let my families, those kids down. I do. I think I just trusted the wrong person.
You said at the hearing that you were sorry.
I regret it.
Would you go so far as to apologize to your husband?
I would apologize to him when he apologized to those children.
Weems filed for divorce late last month. She has been cooperating with investigators who have charged her husband with 4 different children, boys and girls, 9, 10, and 11 years old.
I think about all the children all the time.
And she hopes when she gets out of prison in about 4 years to start a nonprofit to fight child abuse.
And I'm definitely going to make a great batch of lemonade from these lemons that I've been dealt.
Weems's lawyer has just filed a motion asking the judge to reconsider her 4-year sentence. At the D.C. Department of Corrections, Bruce LaShan, WUSA 9.
Wow, that's something. What in the, hold on. Okay, I had to turn that off. I don't even know if you all could hear that, but I could. I found that interesting. They ended up giving her 4 years. When I've seen people, go and heinously do something to somebody. The way these men beating these women, and for nothing, just because they're mad at them and plotting murders and killing them. Okay, just because they're mad at them, they out, they out still violating. Um, but this woman, the judge wanted to make an example of her and gave her even more time than what the prosecutors recommended. The prosecutors did not recommend that. And I was reading that they asked, that she get, maybe probation or 1 to 2 years or something like that. That was not recommend, that was what they recommended. And the judge decided to make an example of her because the judge felt like that she took the law in her own hand and gave her 4 years, even though I feel like she did snap. This man was a retired police officer. Her husband, someone that she trusted. I was reading that he even worked at the daycare. That's why she said he was supposed to be helping me. Once he retired from the force in Baltimore, he came on. Well, he started working at her daycare that she owned with her, and this is where all of this happened. Um, and I do feel like she may have snapped on him because he probably did admit to something, because she said she believed him. Okay. Or it was something, even though she said it was the child, but I believe it was something when she went to speak with him and she probably already knew it in the back of her mind, anyways. Okay. Because that was her husband. A lot of times we study our significant others, so we know when something is not right. So I definitely, that's why I always say we have to be very meticulous about these judges. And I think I've always said from the very beginning, there are the judges race, the prosecutors race, and the sheriff's race are the three most important races in a county, because those three right there can affect your livelihood directly. A lot of people don't pay close attention to the judges race when they absolutely should, because with these judges, we see what this judge had no empathy. And I know what she did was wrong, okay, according to the law. Not according to me, but according to the law. But you have people that's out right now for heinously doing things and violating people. And this lady went to try to get, she snapped out, trying to get justice for these children. How dare her husband, hurt by what her husband did, who was also um supposed to be a peace officer, even though he had retired. So that means that he was sick the whole time, even when he was on the force. You don't just start doing that to children. Okay, so that means you was sick the whole time. But I thought this story was very interesting. The mere fact that they gave her 4 years. And you have a lot of people, um they've started I forgot what it's called, petitions and things of that nature. I definitely going to sign it, because I don't think she should be in jail. He living, he alive, he ain't dead. He ought to be, but he ain't. Okay, she ain't killed a nigga. Okay, so but to give her 4 years, and like I said, they're actively trying to get that reduced because the prosecutors asked the judge not to. Okay, they didn't even recommend that. And so that's why I always talk about, I mean, who's to say when I talk about these politicians and how some of them get into office because they have issues already, they start changing these laws to make them less stringent as it relates to these children and what is going on with these kids or whatever. That judge right there ain't got no empathy. Okay, because why not um do the recommendations of the prosecutors? Okay, but instead he or she is saying they wanted to make an example of her. You don't take the law in your own hand when it's way more heinous people out on the street. I don't understand that. So that judge don't need to be reelected um the next race, right? Okay, but I think more attention need to be brought to this. I definitely wanted to talk about this. That was my first time seeing that. I feel so sorry for her. Her name is Shantiri Weems. Okay, and It's a lot of people that's supporting her. It is. And when he asked her, and you could tell, she said she wants to, she's doing well, because I was reading some more articles, and she, when that you could tell when he asked her, would you apologize to her husband, she paused. She ain't sorry, and she don't need to be. She said if he apologized to those children, okay, because those children are going to be scarred for life. I can't stand a predator and a violator. That's one of my pet peeves. And I go to no end when they are around me to make sure that they are stopped. That turns me into a crazy person, okay? To know that a predator and a violator has zoned in on myself, my family, or anybody else. Okay, I go to no ends to make sure that they are off the street. And he is off the street where he should be, okay? But I'm talking about him in my case too, okay? But anyways, you guys, I wanted to talk about that. I think it's a darn shame. All the years he was on the department, ain't no telling what he did. Ain't no telling what he did. You know what I mean? Especially having that badge, because as I say, there are some bad officers. There are some good ones and some bad ones. Like I said, I can only imagine. He's a predator. He didn't just become a predator when he retired. He probably got on the force to be a predator. Okay? I think his history needs to be looked at. I would love to see what his files look like. Had there ever been any allegations and things of that nature? Okay? I think it's a darn shame, you know? But anyways, I wanted to talk about that. I thought that this would be interesting, you guys. But please like, share, and subscribe. And remember, y'all, let's start protecting. Let's start protecting, especially these children and teenagers and stuff, from these predators. These predators that want to that scars them, okay, when they do these things to them, okay? That scars them when they want to put them into human trafficking, when they set up on YouTube, okay, and get these women to try and recruit kids that are on YouTube to go into human trafficking, or when they've been doing it even before, and then they post up on YouTube. Ain't nobody that's a predator got no business on, even on YouTube, with a whole bunch of kids. We have to, because I'm willing to bet that they are violating, okay, secretly in another way, because a predator and a violator is a predator and a violator, and they don't stop until they are stopped, okay? But anyways, you guys, please like, share, and subscribe, okay? I'll talk with you later.